Hi everyone, I'm here to show you the practice portfolio investing feature on Moola. So you can start by finding it here on the web app under the investing tab. And so the first thing to make clear is that at the moment this is not investing real funds. So what this lets you do is it guides you through portfolio construction based on your personal preferences and shows you how a portfolio would have performed historically. So it's really an educational tool. And so it's got 4 steps. So you start by picking out a risk level, then you can adjust the mix, then you can choose the exact funds, and then backtest. So you start off by doing your financial personality quiz. I've completed mine, so I've gotten this opportunist score, which shows correctly that I have a very high risk tolerance. If you haven't done it yet, then the platform will prompt you to do that before continuing. And then what I can see is that people typically with my profile will pick the growth mix, which is here. However, I might prefer a more aggressive portfolio. So for the sake of argument, let me try out the maximum risk level. And so then what I can do is, so it shows, for example, some of these safer asset classes. It's actually given me 0% allocation in those, while it's given me much higher allocation in some other markets. So what I can do is I can actually toggle these. So for example, I might say, okay, let me do more US stocks. So I'll lower the proportion of the global developed, and then I can see, okay, 74. So I've got some remaining allocation to you, so I can actually add more to the US if I'm very US focused. And what I can also do at this view before I move on is I can pick the specific ETFs I want. So an ETF is an exchange traded fund. It basically tracks the performance of an index or a portfolio of shares. And so the S&P 500 is the 500 largest companies listed on S&P, basically the biggest companies in the world. And then there are some specific ones. So the EEM, for example, this is emerging markets companies. And so what I can see here is what would have happened if I'd invested in this portfolio 5, 10, 20 years ago. So, okay, if I'd invested $10,000 and my account's currently set to dollars 5 years ago, then I would have actually achieved a total return of 72%. If I'd invested 20 years ago, that would have been worth 48,000 today. So that's almost like 5x in 20 years. Unfortunately, I was a bit too young to be investing then. I just start fairly young, but not in my teens. So yeah, this basically allows you to test these different portfolio strategies. It allows you to test different risk tolerances and shows you how that would have performed in reality.